Hello, good evening, mechanics. It's your sparkly race cat, Owen Aeon here, and we are doing our first Handcam stream. How are we tonight? Oh, this is weird. I don't have my headphones on. I'm standing up. I have hands. And things look a little bit different, and I'm sure my mic sounds terrible because I'm using a lav mic rather than my my nice studio mic. So sorry, you're gonna have to put up with it just for tonight. Yeah, audio's a little rough. Yeah, eventually I'll get a little loud. Okay, let me turn it down. All right, how about here? Does that sound pretty good? I think that's about where I normally have it. It might top out. I'll try not to yell. Yeah, I mean, eventually I'll probably get like a better mic for the team garage here, the garage workbench where we are doing our Handcam stream at. Thank you all for coming tonight. So tonight, you can see the title up at the top left. This is the Delta keyboard build stream. And down at the bottom, you can see a small part list that I put together. So tonight we're going to be building the Quadrum Labs Delta 65% keyboard. We're going to be using JWIC MoU Green Snake switches. Those are linear switches. TX AP, the almost perfect screw-in stabilizers, and the SA Geoma keycap set. And that comes with a Hebe Metal Artisan as well. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys through, first we're going to look at what does this board look like. So it looks like this. That's a different set of keycaps than we're using. Those are like all black keycaps there with a cool blue enter button, but it's the same color scheme. It's black with a teal backing. So that's the keyboard from the front. This is the keyboard facing the other direction. So you can see it has these cool triangular delta markings imprinted into the base there. So that's a really neat feature of this board. And then on the bottom of the board, we got this nice polished metal and you know, green, teal painted metal throughout. It's not painted, it's whatchamacallit, not Cerakoted. It's just I think it's electrolytic process they're using. And then the word Delta imprinted in the back. So yeah, that is what the finished product's gonna look like. So what I wanna do is I wanna take you through a parts list of what I got on my workbench here. So first of all, I've got my, one of my first keyboards I got when I started getting into mechanical keyboards. This is just a pre-built Nimbleback. It is a 65% keyboard. It's very cute, it was very cheap. And I put, what do I put in? Gatoron yellow switches in this. So if I actually pull off the keycaps, you can see the Gatoron switches on the underside. So I'm gonna take off one of the caps here. And they're actually see-through to let the LEDs shine through. So we got LEDs in this board. They're doing like an animated rainbow pattern right now, and I got these cool, what do you call them, like jelly caps? They're just like regular plastic, but they're see-through, so it shines the LEDs through. So you get some light shining through them. It's pretty neat. I definitely appreciate the cheaper boards where they have, you know, like lots of LEDs and silly features like that, but I kind of grew out of that pretty quickly once I got into the more premium boards. So that's what I'm using just to control the PC right now. I also have a really cool microscope. I'll show you here. Here, this is a cheap USB microscope. So I use this to check my soldering joints and then just, you know, just view things up close if I need to. So we've got that hooked up to the stream. And I've actually got one of the Green Snake's switches here. So we're going to be putting these inside the board and then soldering it to the circuit board. And I'll show you what they look like kind of up close with the microscope. So if we turn on the microscope here, ta-da, we get our small view. And then if I move it around, you can see the stem and my fingernail. You can see the stem of the switch there, and it's like just random hairs touching it. I live with cats. Yep, we're soldering tonight. So I'll actually take one of these. I'll take one of these switches apart and show you like the parts of the switch, so you kind of get an idea of like what's inside these things. So to do that, we have one of these, which is a switch disassembler. I don't really know the name for it, but anyway, it's got a cute cat pattern in it. And what we do is we open this up like this, and then we put the switch in the center, and there's these 4 like rods that push up and allow you to disassemble the switch. So the casing is in 2 pieces. So you just push down on it, and then you push down on it and it comes apart, and then you just kind of pull it apart. And you got to be careful because there's a spring inside, and you don't want the spring to fly off. So what we have here is we have the top of the case, the bottom of the case, the stem, and then the spring. So it's in 4 pieces. So let me get the microscope here, and I'll show you what that looks like up close. So this is the bottom housing. And what you do is when you get these switches, what a lot of people in the enthusiast community like to do is hand lube these. So you get out a fine paintbrush, a little bottle of lubricant. The most commonly used is Krytox 205 grade 0. And then you get a little dab of that, and then you rub it on the inside of this casing here, and you make sure to coat all the areas where the stem is going to rub up against the inside of the housing to make it glide better. So it gives the switches like a better feel when you press down on them. They feel buttery smooth. So that's the bottom housing. Then we have the top housing. And then we have the stem. Let's see if I can get that. That's my finger. We have the stem. So the stem gets a lot of the lube on the inside. Here, let me refocus that. So these are already pre-lubed from the factory, and I'm already getting hairs on this one, which is disgusting. And not great, because we're actually probably going to be using this one, but I'm going to put this one off to the side because maybe we won't use it. But anyway, hand lubing is something that I do pretty regularly. The friend I'm building this board for, they are fine with the factory lube that it came with. So whatever's on the spring and whatever's on the stem and the inside of the casing, they're just fine with it. It's actually fairly well lubed. I don't really have any complaints about it. I can hear a little bit of spring ping, but it's not excessive. So really, once you get it on the board, like, you don't even notice it. So, all right, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to turn the microscope off, and I'm putting the switch back together here. Let me not screw it up. And the way I normally, wait, that's not how I do it. No, wait, that is the way you do it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm like second guessing myself here. Anyway, push it all together. Push it all together. There you go. Snaps right in. Reassemble. So what I usually do is I have a tray here, my lubing tray, and what I'll do is I'll grab the switches. So we have a full container here of these green snakes, and I'll dump them out, and then I'll like disassemble them one by one. And then this lubing tray keeps me organized. So it's like the stems go in this portion, the springs go here, and then the top and bottom casing go in these rows here. And you just kind of go one by one, you lube them up, you assemble them together, and it takes a few hours. I'd say like for a set of like 70 switches, depending on how fast I'm going or if I'm paying that much attention, it probably takes about 3 hours, maybe 3.5. It's just something you do while you have like a stream or TV on or something like that. But we're not going to be doing that right away, so I'm just going to put the switches back, and we'll save those for later. Just put the top back on. Okay. Do you recommend the plastic bag method for lubing? So I use the plastic bag method for springs. So I'll take out all the springs, and then what I do is, so I have, let me get organized here. So what I do is I have my lubing toolbox here, with everything I need for lubing. So I got my baggie. So this is just a regular old sandwich bag. And what I do is I take super lube, and this is on the recommendation of like a YouTuber from like a few years ago. And what I do is I squirt like 10 dabs of this stuff in the bag, and then I put in all the springs, and then I shake the bag for like a minute and I kind of like massage the springs and get all the lube inside the springs, because like hand lubing all the springs and hand lubing all the stems and all the casing, like it takes forever. The springs I just do with the bag. It's a lot faster, and I've had good experience doing that. I'm pretty happy with all my switch lubing. Some other tools in here. So here's the paintbrush I use. So this is my lubing brush. So what you do is you take your Krytox 205 grade 0, and I'm running pretty low. I'm probably gonna need some eventually if I make another board in the near future. And then you just dab a very small bit of lube, and then you go over the interior of the housing and the stem, and you just make sure it's all coated. But you want to get like a good rhythm to it. You don't want to like over lube it, because if you over lube switches, they can become like very what they call mushy. Like they just feel kind of sluggish, like there's just too much lube in there and it's kind of gumming it up, and it doesn't give you like a good feel or a good clacky sound or a thocky sound, whatever the hell keyboard enthusiasts are calling it right now. But yeah, so, and there's other methods to doing this as well. Like there's film as well. So there's like this film stuff where you can insert basically padding in between the housings, like the top and the bottom housings, because the manufacturing standards of switches weren't nearly as tight as they are now. So even just like 2 or 3 years ago, you could get switches that would have like pretty rattly looseness to them, and then taking these paddings and putting it in between the housings allowed the switch to have like a tighter fit and a better sound and a better feel. So I've done that once, and I frigging hated it. It was a pain in the butt. I don't think it made the switches sound all that much better, so I've never done it since. And to be fair, like the majority of I just bumped my tripod. The majority of switches these days, like on the higher end ones, like they don't have any like looseness that requires that anymore. So it's pretty much defunct at this point, in my opinion. Though there's plenty of people out there that will argue that it's not. Some other tools I have in here. So I have a very nice pair of tweezers. These are Goot. I think it's a Japanese brand. TS15 anti-magnetic. Usually like Gunpla guys use stuff like this, like model makers, and it's just like a really nice pair of tweezers that I can grab the springs with, so that I'm not getting my fingers all over them and smudging the lube off. So that's a favorite tool of mine. Another one is this thing, which is a stem grabber. So it has a plunger. It's all metal. It has a plunger up at the top here, and when you push the plunger, these little like grabber things come out, right? And then you can grab onto the stem of the switch and hold it like let me just demonstrate. I shouldn't have put the switch back together. I should have kept using it as a demonstration. But anyway, you take the switch apart again, and to hold the stem, you get the grippies out, let it latch on to that part of the stem, and then I can hold it like this, and then take the paintbrush and then lube it up very carefully like that. So, and then like when you're done with it, you just like put it back in when you're going to assemble it, put it back into the housing, and then you just unplunge and it falls right out. Yeah, so it's really cool tools that go along with the keyboard assembly process and lubing tools and all that jazz. So it's pretty excess. I mean, it's a very excess hobby. People spend a lot of money on these boards. I mean, to be fair, this board costs $625, so it's not cheap. absolutely not cheap. But when you go that high premium in your hobby, it's like you want the best of the best, right? You want the best switches. You want to take the time to lube these switches to the point that like you're happy with them, and that you're going to be happy with this board for years to come. Or if you only enjoy it for a certain amount of time and want to resell it, that's cool too. Usually the values don't diminish too far. So yeah. So we don't really have to lube any of the switches because, like I said, the factory lube is good enough. We are going to be lubing our stabilizers, though. So stabilizers, here's what we're using. We're using these TX AP stabs. So this is like the 4th generation of TX's stabilizer. And what these are in your keyboard. So the majority of switches in the board only need to plug into the switch. But there are like keys like the shift key, the space bar, enter key that are too wide, and if you try to push them directly down into the stem, they're gonna like warp like right and left as you're pushing down. So what they need is stabilizers. So what stabilizers are, they're these little metal bars that then slot into these plastic parts, and the plastic bits are actually mounted to the board using screws or clipping in. In this case, these are screws. And then the wires themselves go into there. So what we need to do is we actually need to, however many we need to lube the insides of the plastic bits just ever so slightly, so that it has a good like press down. So your switch is lubed, your stabilizer is lubed, and then it all feels very nice when you press the keys. So we are going to be doing a bit of lubing, but not right now. We'll do that in a little bit. Okay, so that's our lubing stuff, our switches, our stabs. Next we have the keycaps. So the keycaps we're using for this build are SA Geoma. So SA is from Signature Plastics. It's one of their keycap profiles. I think it's a profile that's like all consistent. Like it's not shaped any differently depending on row. It's all just uniform. It's a uniform profile. So these are really cool caps. They've got a great color scheme. They fit very well with the black and teal of the board. The legends are very cool. The typeface is very nice. Really a big fan of these. Here's more of the modifiers, the different legends. So we got like enter, shift, arrow keys, escape key, and you can kind of mix and match these as you want. That's the great part about custom keyboards, is that you can put on whatever keys you want, and you can map them to whatever you want. So we have these novelty keys here that you can swap in with anything. So it's like alternate looking shifts. We have some hearts up here, some of these like Celtic knots, and then just like these really cool, geometric shapes, and these like symbols down here. They're all like really neat. So we'll see what we want to do once we build it. So I'm going to put these off to the side for now, because that's going to be the last thing we do. Let's put the keycaps on. Okay, so, and can't forget the artisan as well. So a lot of these sets, they come with, or you can purchase an artisan to go with them, and artisan caps are just like one-off caps that sometimes they may go with a set, or they may just be like, they could be made out of resin or made out of clay. There's a lot of keycap artisans out there that design artisan keycaps, just as like a one-off sale. Just think of it as like, like just sculpture making almost. So there's people that sell all kinds of sculpted keycaps. Like I've seen hamburgers, I've seen like Final Fantasy characters, Star Wars characters, like whatever you can think of and mold onto a base, you can make a keycap out of it. But this one is the Metal Artisan by Hebe. Hebe's a metal artisan designer, and this came with the set, so it was like an add-on, and it looks very nice. And generally you put these on the escape key. The escape key is usually the one that gets the artisan, but you can put it on whatever part of the board you want. All right, so get these caps out of the way, and we'll move our microscope. So I want to clean empty surface here so we can get our keyboard out and start following our build guide. So the majority of custom keyboards, the designers usually put together a build guide. So this build guide, I can actually link it to you guys, and you can follow along if you want. So I just put it in chat there. So this is the build guide, and it tells you like what's in the kit, step by step how to put it together. Not every designer puts build guides up, which is like actually a huge pet peeve of mine. I get kind of pissed off when designers don't put up a build guide, because it's like, well, what if it's that person's like first keyboard they've ever built and they're not like experienced in the scene? They're not going to know what the hell they're doing, right? So, but you know, there's a lot of elitism in the scene, unfortunately, and some designers are too, you know, they just don't want to do it. So anyway, I'm glad there's a build guide. I'm glad there's a parts guide. And it seems very well put together. So I'm really excited to put this one together. So this is the case it comes in. One of my favorite things about custom mechanical keyboards is most vendors and most designers will include a custom case to go with it. And these cases can be used with, like, you know, any board of that size, right? So I have a few kicking around here. I have one for a 40%, I have one for a 65%, right? So it's like they come in all different sizes. I took this one to a meetup I went to recently in New York City, and this is a good one to hold a 40% keyboard. So it's, you know, it's got like a foam padded interior, usually has straps. There's a zippable pocket up here for extras, and sometimes they'll even come with a microfiber you know, cloth to wrap it in, because most of these keyboards are aluminum based and they have a very nice finish and you don't want to get them scratched. So the key is, you know, padding and cloth to keep them from getting stretched. So this one's actually from Canon Keys. You can tell by the logo here. Canon Keys is one of my favorite vendors. I bought several boards from them, and they're usually like all in stock for the most part. You can buy things that are like actively in their shop. You don't have to like wait around for group buys. So, all right, so let's get the casing over here and get our board out and see what's inside. So I have actually opened this up a few months back and tested the circuit board to make sure it was working, because I knew it would be a while before we get to this build, and I wanted to make sure that the circuit board worked before I got to the build phase and try to build it and went, oh no, the circuit board is broken and it's long past due of getting any sort of replacement from the vendor. So we made sure that was working. All right, so here we go. This is the Delta keyboard in here. So we can take the straps off, and we're going to be very carefully lifting it out. It's really stuck in there with the padding, so we just got to be careful. I mean, it is a hunk of aluminum, so you can just pull on it, but I don't want to mess it up, especially because it's not my board. Ooh, that's got a nice hefty feel to it. Look at that. Look at that color. Very cool. I think one thing to note is the board color here ended up being a lot more green. You can't see it on the camera. On the camera, it looks like it's much more blue, but in real life, it's very green. Less teal. I wouldn't even say it's teal green. I would just say it's green. But it's still a very, very pretty board. Very pretty color. I like the size of it. I like the 65%. Form factor, the rounded edges here, very nice. And then we've got, you know, the compartments here for the side keys, the arrow keys, and then there's an encoder on the top right. Encoder is just a fancy word for the knob. So we got space for an encoder there. So that's good. So yeah, so we'll take that out, and we will actually, let's leave this in the foam for now. We'll take out the rest of the stuff. So this is the encoder. So the encoder, again, that's the knob. That's for, like, you know, your volume and all that. So we got that. We'll set that off to the side. Inside the pocket here, we got a few things. So we got wrapped up in here, we have two items. Actually, let me put this back in the foam for now. We got two items. We have the circuit board. So the circuit board usually comes in an anti-static bag like this. I've already opened it up, taken it out, and tested it, so I know that that works. Very pretty circuit board. They got the name of the board there. It's a white color. I'll take it out of the bag. There we go. This is one of the most handsome circuit boards I've seen. Usually they don't opt in for, you know, a nice color to match. I mean, sometimes they do, but I don't know. It just really stood out to me on this one. And what it is all these slots here for the switches. So the switches are going to get soldered in here. All right, so we'll put that back in the bag for now because we want to follow our steps in the build guide. Let's go back in. Okay. The next bit here is the plate. So the plate goes against the circuit board. So what you do is you place the switches. Where's my one switch I was hanging on to? Where'd you go? Oh, don't tell me I put it somewhere else. Well, anyway, switches, they go in through the top here, and then they attach to the plate, and then you solder it together. So the switches, you know, this keeps everything together. The plate keeps everything together, and it's what the switches are mainly hitting themselves against. So the different materials of the plate can produce different sounds in the board. So sometimes you might have an aluminum plate, you might have a carbon fiber plate, or in this case, I think this is a like the material the circuit board is printed in. I forget what it's called, MRPF4 or something like that. I forget the abbreviation. But anyway, they all produce kind of different sounds. And this one it's very nicely designed. It's got nice finish to it. Again, the name of the board is there. It's got this great like white coloring to it. So very, very cool. All right, so we'll put that back in the tissue paper here. And then we'll move the board here, get the switches out of the way, set this to the side. Okay, so the next thing in here is our bag with all our little parts. So this is just this is the logo of Quadrum Labs, and this QR code is what took us to the build guide on the website. So just like nice little you know, instruction manual type stuff in there. Also in here is I think it's the daughter board is in here. Yeah, don't want to lose anything. So let me, before I lose anything, let's get the magnetic guy out here so I don't lose any screws. There we go. And we'll check the parts guide to make sure that we have all the pieces here. All right, so I see we have a ribbon cable here. It looks like it goes into the daughter board or the USB. We have two boards in here. It looks like, yep, we have the USB connector and the daughter board. So that's the daughter board that will connect to the motherboard, and they'll screw into the case somewhere. And then this is the USB-C connector that plugs into that. So we got those two ribbon cables, one of these long screws, one of these hex screws. Okay, two, they're both hex screws. And then let's see, another itty bitty hex screw. So this one these probably go into the boards. Yep, and then some Phillips head screws, and it looks like those are all the same, so we got 4 of those. Okay, and then there's nothing else in the bag. Is there anything in this bag? Nope. Always want to check and make sure that you have all the parts. All right, so in this bag we have the encoder part. So this, let me grab it. So the knob slots into the encoder like that, so it can spin. And this part actually gets soldered into the circuit board. So I'm going to be soldering these little feet into the board. Cool, cool, cool. All right, and then also in here we've got our silicone feet We got silicone feet. So these are gonna get applied to the bottom of the board because right now it's just aluminum. So these are gonna protect the bottom of the board from when it's on a desk. So that's just, 3M adhesive on the back, and we'll apply that to the board. And then these feet actually go on the, I think on the interior of the board to like hold the casing together and make it tight. But we'll get to the build guide and just make sure that that's what it's actually doing, because I've used something like this before, and that's what it was for, is to hold the casing together and make sure that it doesn't like rub against itself, because you don't want metal on metal. All right, so time to look at the build guide and see if we've got all the parts. Oh yeah, also in the case here that came with the board are some stickers from Vala Supply, the vendor. So some of the most expensive and craziest boards out there, Vala has been the vendor for. So this is just like some stickers from them, and I have a few of these already on decorating the garage here. So always nice to have more stickers. Okay, so that looks like that's everything in the case. So let's check out the build guide. So it says, all right, so we're just gonna go through the part list. So we got the top case, bottom case is there, the weight, those are all there, the mounting bracket, yep, all that stuff is assembled to the board already. We have the plate, the dial, gaskets. Okay, so these black guys here, these black things, they're called gaskets. Feet, that's what the clear ones are. Those are feet. Excuse me, sorry. So we got the feet, gaskets. It says 10 long, 2 medium, 2 short, 10 long, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, and I think there's some extras in there. 2 medium, 2 short, 1 extra of each size is included. Okay, cool. Thank you. The rotary encoder, we got that. The PCB, we got that. Unified C daughter board, we got that. The encoder daughter board. Oh, it's the encoder daughter board. That's what this is. Okay, so the encoder actually solders into this, I guess. 4-pin JST cable. That's this is 4. Yeah, this is 4. So this is the 4-pin cable, and then this is the 5-pin cable. So we got both of those. 6 screw M2. Ooh. Interesting. I wonder if... Oh, there's screws in the casing. Okay, I got scared for a minute. Oh, I see. Okay, so there's 6 screws, M2 by 0.4 millimeters. Then there's 3 nylon screws, M2, 0.4 millimeters, 8 of the M3s, 4 more M3s. Okay, so what it is all these screws are actually already in the case, already in the board itself. What these are extras, it looks like. Yeah, so these are the extras, because it says one extra of each included. Okay, cool. Just making sure. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm like, there's no way I lost any screws. But in order to not lose these, let's put these back in the bag, because these are extras, and we don't want to lose extras. Okay. Put the encoder dial back here for now. Okay. All right, so it says we need a clean area to work in. So I'm gonna just take this off for 1 second, and what we're gonna do is wipe off our work area. With a microfiber cloth. Alright. Back to the build guide. Tools you'll need: clean area to work, screwdriver and or Allen keys with the following sizes. Yep, we got that. Soldering iron, solder, tweezers, sharp scissors. Additional items: switches, stabs, keycaps. Okay, step 1. Ugh. Step 1. I need like another table to work on. I love my workbench, but like I kind of need extra room, especially with all the streaming stuff here. Let's pull this forward. All right, step 1. Plug one end of the 4-pin JST cable to the port highlighted on the PCB. So let's get the PCB out. And we'll put this off to the side for now. Okay, get the PCB out. Okay, plug one end of the 4-pin JST cable. So that's this guy here, the multicolored guy. Hard to see my OBS when I got the build guide up, but that's okay. Alright, plug one end of the 4-pin JST cable into the port highlighted on the PCB. I guess it doesn't matter what side it's on. Alright, so the board is oriented like this, and our connector is here. And it looks like it goes like this. Sorry, my cat ears are in the way. I gotta remember to hold things out over here. So we're just gonna slot that in very carefully. Oop. Slot that in very carefully. I think that's in. Just making sure. I'm gonna pop it out real quick. I don't think that went in. I think I want to flip it. It's always so hard to tell like which way is up on these things. No, I think I had it right because I can see the pins in there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had it right. Yeah, it just goes in like that. Okay. Alright, so we slotted that in. Kind of giving a little shove there. Yeah, okay. Alright, plug one end into the port on the PCB. Plug the under end of the 4-pin JST cable onto the Unified C daughter board. So that's this one here, our daughter board. Make sure we don't bend the pins. Okay, that's plugged in. Connect the daughter board to your computer using the USB port. Flash the firmware on the PCB. I think I did this already, yeah. Okay, yeah, I did do this. Using tweezers, test each switch by shorting their contacts, checking for an input. Yep, we've done that. Alright, step 2. Oh, install your stabilizers on the PCB. Okay, alright, it's time to lube our stabilizers, so let's get to lubing. Alright, so what do we need? I don't even know what we need. Alright, so we need 3 of the smaller stabs and then 1 of the spacebar stab. So we'll get the these back out. And while we do that, we'll just put the circuit board on the anti-static and put it back there. Alright, so let's get our stabs out. So we'll put the screws to the side for now, and then we'll get out what we need here. Okay, so for each of these we're going to need 2, 4, 6, 8 feet, 2, 4, 6, 8, okay, and then stems 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Okay, cool. And then we'll need 3 of the regular wires and then 1 of the 6.5U wire. Okay. All right, so we'll get to lubing on those. So what I'm going to do here is take out, just do one at a time, very patiently. Get the wire out. Make sure the wires are not bent. If you see a bend in them, you can kind of play with it and bend it back. That wire seems pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna get out my lubing brush and my lube and get to lubing. So just dab a little bit on there. I want to coat the inside. Oop, there's like a hair hanging out here. That's not good. I have 2 cats. Well, I am a cat, but I have 2 cats and they get hair everywhere. All right, so we're gonna lube the inside of this. Just be very careful, get it all in there. How are my mechanics doing tonight? How are you holding out this week? We made it to Wednesday. We made it to Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. We're all gonna make it. I believe in you. Alright, so once we've lubed the inside, put the foot in, or the stem in rather. I think that's... Did I get it backwards? I think I got it backwards. There we go. And then it slots in like that. We'll make it one way or another. Yeah, you got that right. And then it kind of, it's hard to show you on the camera, but basically it'll stay popped up like that. And then when you depress like the space bar or the shift key, it pushes this down. And then when you depress, it comes back out like that. So you want to have the inside like kind of with some lube on it so that it can travel well. So we got one of those done. We're gonna do the next one. Get a little bit of lube. Paint the inside. Make sure all the interior surfaces are coated where the stem is going to be touching the interior. So all of these, all the inside of there, all the inside walls is what I lubed up. And then we just insert the stem here. I think I got it backwards again. Got it backwards. Yeah, okay, so that it can freely go in and out. That's what she said. And then the next step you do is take your wire, and then we're going to lube up the ends of the wire up to and including the bend. And we're going to get that actually really lubed. We're going to put a lot of lube on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to insert them into each of these feet, and then you turn it 90 degrees and it locks it in so that it becomes like one piece. So I'm going to lube up the wire. I'm probably going to need to dab some more on. That's pretty well coated. I think I'm happy with that. So we take that and then we insert it into the stem, and then we get it clipped in there. Like I said, twist it 90 degrees. It's kind of interesting. This one's a little bit tougher to do than the ones I'm used to. I wonder if... Damn, this one's tough to get in. There we go. Finally. I hope I didn't bend it doing that. I don't think I did. It still looks pretty solid. Okay, so now that it's set in here, you can see, well, can't really see, but as the wire will tilt up like that, so that like when the keys are not being pressed down, it's up like that, and then when you push down on the keys, compress the spring and the switch, it goes like that. So it rubs up against the inside of it, so you want them nice and lubed on the inside. All right, so I'm gonna lube up the other side. Make sure it's nice and coated all the way around. It's pretty good. And then once again, we'll slot it into this. Just gotta find the hole. And then snap it in. There we go. That one was a bit easier. Kind of know what I'm doing now. All right, so now it's all one piece. So we got one set of stabilizer completed. And what we're gonna do is we're not gonna put it in the board right away. I actually have like a test bed where I can screw it in and then like test out how it feels. So if I need to, what they call tune it more, which is like add in more lube or maybe take it apart or take off some lube, I can do that before we solder it in and we go, oh shoot, I made a mistake and I want to do that over. So we'll try it on that before we install it into the board. So let's just keep at it. It's so difficult for me to get it out of there. I'm actually going to use my set of tweezers to get it out. This is why we have precision tools, so we don't have to fuddle around with our silly fingers. All right, I'm sick of this song. I want another one. Let's change up the BGM. I need to get a bigger playlist. Let's do one of my old favorites. This one's from Goosette. It's called Snowy Night. I always like this one. This is another good song you could get on Dova Syndrome. Royalty free. Good for streams. Just checking my work here to see if I got it all lubed up inside. Actually, let me get my, I got a magnifying glass for that. Nice to have a lighted magnifying glass for this kind of thing. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Changing it up. Yep, you got it. Yeah, this song was from a favorite VTuber of mine back in the day, but she doesn't use it anymore. She hasn't used it in a few years, so it's mine now. I doubt anyone in the chat right now would recognize it, but I know a few people might. Okay, got one there. Put the other stem in here. Cool. Oh, check the wire to see if it's bent at all. Nope. Seems pretty good. Lube up the ends. Looks like the lube is starting to separate down at the bottom here, so I gotta like mix it up a little bit. Hi CLO, you're PvPing? Hell yeah. You're PvPing in 14? Didn't even know there was PvP, because I don't think anyone's ever talked about 14 PvP to me. I know PvP was like a big deal in WoW, and then a lot of people cried when they got like flying mounts and quick travel type things, and it kind of killed PvP, unfortunately. I remember that was like a big deal. I don't know what year that was. That was a very long time ago. Alright, we're gonna put the first one in. There we go. Alright. I was like afraid to snap this in before, now I'm less afraid. Yeah, 14. Yeah, cool. Well, maybe I'll do some on Friday. Oh, like stream 14? Yeah, that'd be awesome. I like hearing you talk about 14. You're very enthusiastic about it. I like the, I like that it caters to sort of like what I'm interested in, which is like pretty outfits, home ownership, and community, rather than just like, oh, it's all about like raiding and gear. I mean, I'm sure it has that stuff, right? I've heard that it's got, you know, endgame raids and gear and things like that, but it seems like the people that play it, MMO fans these days, are like less obsessed with that kind of thing, and it's more about like fun events, chilling with your friends, making cool characters and OC fan art and stuff like that. Hyperfixation talk, yeah. Home ownership, yeah. Well, that's just something I love. I love home ownership in games, right? Having a plot of land that you can do whatever you want with, and people can come to and look at it, like that's everything. So like the last MMO I played was Arcage, and Arcage had home ownership, and you could like place furniture, you could import custom like textures and stuff like that. So of course I had like, you know, etchy anime girl posters like all over the inside of my house, but you know, you do what you want to do, right? WoW is definitely more about raiding than 14, which is sad because there's definitely a lot of folks in WoW that would definitely rather not raid. Yeah, I think for a lot of people in WoW, they're still doing it because it's what they grew up with and it's comforting. And I appreciate that comfort factor, right? Like, you should play things that make you feel good and are fun with your friends. Like, someone in the team, race team, is playing WoW Classic, and he's having a really good time with that. He's been playing it since, you know, they came out with it, because, you know, he played it back in the day, from the get-go, so I can appreciate that. Taking it easy, long day, so enjoying the keyboard building. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, it is pretty chill stream. It's chill because I have to like take my time. I can't rush through it, and this is probably the most annoying part. And we're already halfway through, so that's good. I just have to test them before I put them on the board. Yeah, it's very calming to have on a beat background in PvP while I'm going die, 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 die. Yeah, I feel you. Does doing PvP like get you any rewards or anything? Like, is there do you accrue like a currency you can spend on like a cash shop or something like that? I imagine there must be some kind of reward. Otherwise people probably wouldn't do it that much. Other than like gloating factor. Reminds me I gotta build my own keyboard, but I forgot to order lube. Ah, yeah. What are you building? I've probably asked you before, Kudo, but I just don't remember. Is it like a pre-built and you're getting like fun switches for it, or is it one of these like more designer keyboards? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm lubing this thing like up against me and the camera isn't even there, so I gotta remember to get the camera in there. Or get my hands in camera. That's the whole point of the stream. Yeah, there are a ton of rewards. Oh, cool. PvP grind never ends. Yeah. So the word twink means something different today in mainstream. But back in WoW, I remember you had twink characters, which was like getting the maximum amount of gear at a certain like range of levels, so that you could PvP at a very high level with other players in that band of levels. Like I think it was like something like everyone level 15 to 20 can fight each other in a PvP thing. So what you want to do is like get yourself to level 20, get the best gear you could, and then not advance that character past level 20 because you still wanted to compete in PvP with other players of that level. I don't know if that's still like a thing in MMOs, or if that's even a thing in 14, or do they just like auto level you to like whatever you need to be to make it fair? I don't know. It's very interesting, some of that meta. But yeah, I definitely remember they were called twinks. and twink did not mean back then what it means now. I just remember going into an instance in like this guild that my friends had made, and there was like a guy on voice comms in there, and he was like, I don't know, he was probably like 12 or 13 or something, and he had this like uber powerful twink character, and then he went into an instance and then accidentally like accrued too much XP and leveled himself up out of the range of which he was trying to compete in, and he was just like absolutely sobbing, and he's just like, my twink, and he was just like crying his eyes out like on comms, and I was like, oh my god. I think that was when I was like, damn, MMOs are something else. And I think that's when I stopped taking it seriously and just like stopped caring. Once I heard that kid crying about it, I was like, this is stupid. My twink. Oh, that's like one of those core memories, those things like you'll never forget. Oh my god, that was so funny. There was a lot of MMO rage like audio floating around in that era too, like back when people used like Ventrilo, before like TeamSpeak and Mumble and all those other things, and way before Discord, of course. Yeah, we were using Ventrilo, what we called Vent. I think everybody called it Vent. And on Vent, you'd just get like, you know, the classic like Ventrilo harassment, where in WoW it was like this guy, this recording, and it's him just saying stupid stuff about his gear, like, oh dude, 4 strength, 4 stamp leather belt. And then, you know, people would make soundboards of people like that, and then like go into their comms and just play the soundboards to piss them off. Yeah, 50 DKP minus, that one. There was another one that was like, it wasn't WoW, it was like, it wasn't like RuneScape, but it was like another kind of like MMO of that time period. Maybe it was Ultima or something. And there was like this weapon called the Cloud Song, and I think it was one of those, damn, I can't get this thing in. That's what she said. Oh, it's so tough on my fingers. There was this like MMO, and the way it worked is like when the loot dropped, it was like Ragnarok Online, where the first person to pick it up was the one who got it. It wasn't the person that killed the thing, or it wasn't like a roulette, but it was literally just like, oh, you kill the thing, it drops on the ground, and then you pick it up, kind of like Diablo. So like the first person to pick it up would get it. So this guy was like grinding this boss like over and over again for like months or something, and then finally like the Cloud Song dropped, and another dude like swooped in and picked up the Cloud Song, and he just started freaking out on comms like, my Cloud Song, he took my Cloud Song, you know, that kind of thing. It was just like, oh my god. And it's like, I get it, like I get the rage, like I would be so mad too if I spent all that time, but at the same time I'm like, it's just pixels, bro. It's just pixels. Like when you think about it, right? It's just like, why am I spending all this time on this just to get a stupid piece of gear that's not even going to make any difference, like when the next expansion comes out and it's just going to be trash again. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's funny. Gamer rage is always funny, except when it's like, you know, obviously harmful to another person. That's not funny. But all right, this one's done. Now we got the the spacebar, stab. It was a different era? Yeah, it was. There's some great compilations on YouTube. I don't know how many are still around, of just like dudes freaking out at like LAN parties and stuff, and on webcam just like getting killed in Counter-Strike and then just like losing their shit and bashing the keyboard against the monitor. Like, that stuff is just like so funny. But it's like, it's messed up too, because you're just like, I wonder what they're like when they get like normal mad, right? Like, but anyway, I always wanted to go to like a big LAN party from that era. Like, you'd see like old photos of like QuakeCon. This is before like everyone had broadband, right? Like, everyone was on dial-up and like maybe like shitty dial-up. So like some of the best way to enjoy multiplayer PC games networked is to go to like a giant LAN party like QuakeCon, where everyone's just hooking up their computers in like an aircraft hangar together, and, you know, just having like a shared sweaty nerd experience with 500 other dudes with their Cheetos and Mountain Dew in a giant hangar together playing Counter-Strike. I always wanted to go to one of those, but I never got the opportunity. They didn't really do them where I was living. Had to go to like Texas or California for that kind of thing. Though later on in school, I did get to do some like LAN party type stuff with folks. It wasn't that big. It was only like a handful of people. The sad thing is like, by the time I got to that point, people were just playing WoW. They weren't even playing like Quake or Counter-Strike or anything. They were literally just like, oh, let's all play WoW. And it's like, you could just do this in your dorm. Like, you don't have to like bring your computer out to like, you know, the LAN party event, right? I think by that time it was just like broadband and everything was so ubiquitous. It's like, there's just like no point in having a LAN party anymore, unfortunately. So kind of missed out on that era. Oh well. Keep lubing. Lubing the hell out of these. Okay. Pretty sure this is the right size wire I need. Alright. Goes in. Oh, just go in, buddy. Just get in there. There we go. Whew. I'm so scared I'm going to bend these things when I put them in. Oh, it's the Zoom 65 Essential V2. Yeah, Zoom 65 is pretty cool. Those are like nice, like little affordable. Like I say affordable. Like some people call them budget, but like they're still like $200, right? They're like these nice little $200 boards. They got like everything included. Just a nice package in general, right? When those hit the market, I was like, oh, good. Like that's like something I could recommend to like somebody getting into keyboards if they want to spend that much money. Go get one of the Zooms, because Zoom, the style of them is just like, it's just nice. It's just like a good looking board at a good price point. So that's really neat. You got to tell me how it is once you put it together. I'm curious. My sister did all the surprising, so it was the wild green and anodized gold with froggy keycaps. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Have you seen Omena's keycaps that she's coming out with? She's got her own set of like froggy rain caps. She's got bunny mailers on the way. I'm excited for the bunny mailers. I'm probably going to get a set of the bunny mailer caps. Yeah. I might, like, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe later in the year, like, I'll buy another board, like, specifically to put the bunny mailers on, and then I'll do, like, another stream. Because I want to show her a stream like that, where we like, live unbox her caps and put them on a board or something like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, stabs are done, but I definitely want to test them first, so we're going to put them on the My hands are sticky with lube now. Let's wipe it off on this microfiber shop cloth, which are awesome. I love these. Put it back in our sheath there. Put the lube away. Put these stabs, extra stabs away. Oop, got it backwards there. Slide it back in. Ilium's is also thinking of her bun for keycaps, so I've been excited about that too. Cool. Yeah, I've got a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but I have several different sets of caps that are just like hanging around that like I love, but I've like never put on a board just because like I don't have that many boards, and like I'm really happy with what I'm using right now, which is the Paragon board with the Dreamscape caps, because that's like the original set that I wanted getting into the scene. Where's all this crap coming from? All right, so let's put these in the test board. So I think it goes like this. Nope, it goes like this. 6.25U, yep. All right, so that slots in there. And what you... Actually, I think we need the... need to put the switch in first, so let me grab some switches. To buy more boards or to not buy more boards? Yeah. When I was like really focused on the scene, like I was spending like all my money on boards and caps and stuff. And then I was like, oh, I've got enough now. I can stop. So like in the last year, I've been, you know, getting into other hobbies instead, which is a good thing. Go like that. Yeah, I guess it could go like that. Okay. I think. Or does it go the other way? I think it goes like that. Yeah. Yeah, I need the bigger holes to snap into. Okay, cool. And then can I just put the switch in like that? So again, this is like a tester board. Hey, Toga, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining. I love Ilium's art, so a keycap for the bun sounds great. Yeah. Does sound awesome. All right, so let's get these screwed in so I can test them. Yeah, I should get another cloth, rub the lube off my hands. I'm playing Val Comp as I watch. Nice. Yeah, I know. I'm second monitor content. I get it. All my streamers, all my everyone I watch, they're all like second monitor content. I just love listening to people, and when something cool's happening, I know to look over. These have little what do you call them? Like circle bump things to you know, pad it and make it a little more yeah. Oop, I'm losing one. Actually, this tape is pissing me off. I'm just gonna take the tape off there. There we go. Getting in my way. The one time you sent a pic of you watching, I think 3 streams is so relatable. Yeah, I don't do that often. I really only watch, like, I try and watch 1 stream at a time. But when it's like your Oshi and then like other stuff you want to watch, it's hard not to. I had, I think the other day I had F1 up on one side of the TV and Sea Dog up on the other because I was watching the cyclothon. I didn't want to miss the cyclothon, but I also didn't want to miss F1, so I just had both at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna screw these in very carefully. Oh god, these transparent bumps are I'm gonna lose them. I want to lose them. Just put them off to the side for now, and I need a little screwdriver. So I have a fancy screwdriver here. Hey, Stompy Burb, welcome, welcome. How's the build going? I've just got done lubing the stabs, so I'm gonna test the stabs, and then we're actually gonna finally get to the build. Because so far all I've done is plug the USB-C daughter board into the PCB, and I've suddenly remembered, oh, I already did that like months ago. I already tested it, so haven't really gotten very far. But I've got a fancy screwdriver here. For those of you who don't know, this is a WOW stick. So it's just a cute little screwdriver that can go forward and reverse, and it comes with all kinds of bits, like tons and tons of bits. So let me find the right bit for these screws. It's like sonic screwdriver, yeah, almost, because it's got the light and it's blue and it makes a noise. But I'm not Doctor Who. I cannot go back in time, unfortunately, as much as I want to. It looks like one, yeah. It does look like one. It's even got like a little pedestal for it. Where am I? Where the fuck is it? Oh, here it is. You can like stand it upright like that. It's funny. But yeah, this is one of my like favorite tools. All right, so we got the bit we need. And then we just screw that in very carefully. I hold on to it on the back. And it doesn't have very high torque. It's very gentle. So I'm never afraid of like stripping a screw using this thing. Because it's really only meant for these like tiny electronic screws. Okay. Got those in. Okay, let's grab cap. What should I use? Oh, I got this set over here. So this is one of the first boards that I soldered together. This is called a Practice 65. So it's just an open case design, and it's literally just like a bottom, a plate, and a circuit board, and that's it. So this is actually one of my favorite boards. Actually, it has a pretty cool sound to it. It was a lot of fun to put together for my very first project. So I think for that, this one in particular, we'll use the regular shift. Nope, I'll just take the Z off here. There we go. Use this as a test. So we slide it on. Yeah, it feels good. Just push it on a little bit more. Giron, welcome. Yeah, and for those just joining us, sorry about the mic quality. So I don't have my studio mic down here. I'm using a lav mic pinned to my shirt. So I promise next stream we'll be back to regular mic. Oop, pulled out the switch. Okay, that the stabs feel fine there. I'm happy with that. So let's do another one. Oh, there's a lot of cat hair under that board. All right. And for those that are just joining us, thank you so much for coming tonight. We are building a mechanical keyboard. It's called the Delta. It's a 65%. It's not actually here on the table yet. It's off to the side. Are the kitties allowed in this room? Yeah, the kitties can come down here, but they don't jump up on anything. But that board was being used on a desk where the cats can hang out. So that stuff just gets under there. It gets everywhere. All right, next set of stabs. Oop, gotta get the clips under. Get those screws in. Just don't want to lose the damn transparent bumpers. Oh my god, they're like coming off on my finger here. Ooh, get back in there. They're escaping. Yeah, you know it. You know what the cats be doing. My one cat like actually wanted to go outside today for the first time like ever. And I got this little harness. So I put the harness on him and we took him outside. and he was loving it. We don't want to take him out too long, though. He is FIV positive, and he's getting quite old at this point, so any sort of like cold or sickness could be his last, unfortunately, but that's just how it goes. But he's about 14, so he's had a pretty long life. But he's usually always like up in the window, looking outside, breathing the fresh air, so I figure he's at an old enough age now, it's like we just let him do what he wants, right? Make him happy. We'll let him up on the bed now. All that, what we didn't before. Okay, so let's take this one, test this one. Feels a little bit different, but still pretty good. I'm pulling out the switch with it because it's not, you know, it's not soldered in, it's just sitting there. I just want to compare it to this other one. I think it just feels different because it's in the center of this. But it has a good, yeah. Feels good. He's an old man, yep, he is. Grumpy old man. And he's gross now. Like, he'll poop, and then the poop will get stuck in his fur, and he just won't do anything about it. And I need to get like the brush out with the you know, the knife brush, the good one that gets like knots out of their hair out, and like scrape it out that way. It's pretty nasty. I can't even tell my cat is getting old. She's still so kitten-like. That's great. That's nice. It's nice when they still have a lot of energy in them. Except when they're like annoying you and always wanting to get in your lap. My boy Victor, who's much younger, he's only like 3 or 4. He's very much a lap cat. Like, he wants to be in your lap all the time, but he's still skittish too. Like, if you make like a sound, like sucking air between your teeth, or you're about to sneeze, he's like, it's go time, and then he'll just like leap out of your lap and just dart. But you know, he's a very sweet boy. A little love bug. Yeah, he was. I mean, both of my cats were rescues. And Victor was rescued from a hoarder situation. So his quirk is that he doesn't cover his poop in the litter box. Luckily, I can put the litter boxes in the basement, so he just stinks up the basement when he poops. So I usually come down in the morning, and then if I don't need to immediately clean the litter box, I just kind of cover it up real quick. Otherwise, it's stinky. That feels good. That feels like a good job there. Cool. All right, let's put the spacebar in. I just want to make sure it is the 6.25 spacebar. Oh yeah, for anyone that joined recently or hasn't been to the stream before, I'd really appreciate a follow if you could. We're very close to affiliate. I think I have something like 42 followers right now, and I'm looking to get to 50 pretty soon because I got emotes made. I'm probably going to be commissioning some animated emotes soon too, so I want to let the mechanics get those. So if you haven't already, if you could drop a follow, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, that is the right size of keyboard. Stabilizer. I'm just going to try it out in the test bed here. Did I get that right? Yeah, I want the largest size. There we go. Just had a little snap in there. Speaking of, my little girl just crawled in my lap. Aw, that's so sweet. These stupid little things. There we go. I gotta remember those when I put them in proper. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the screw started there. Oh my god, stop. It's like trying to keep like 3 things together. I only have 2 hands. Try that again. Oh fuck. Got all the magnets though. Magnets, how do they work? That's probably the funniest thing to ever come out of ICP. Is this actually gonna... Wait a minute. How does the switch go in? Oh, it just goes like that. Okay, cool. Alright. Where's my space bar? Oops, sorry. Kicking the camera. Stream is buffering for me? Oh shit. Oh man. Internet. Are we back? Looks like it might be settling down. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It does this so much. Is it still buffering? It says, yeah, it's still dropping frames. Yeah, it keeps jumping up to like maximum bandwidth usage. Ugh, so annoying. Seems to be back, just a bit behind. Yeah. Yeah, it's still showing like it's trying to catch up with itself, and it's still dropping frames, but not quite as much as before. Well, actually, it is quite a lot. Sorry, guys. All right, I'm happy with the stabs, so we can take these out and we can install them in the circuit board. Hey, Kohai, how you doing? Yep, we're doing our first Handcam stream. We're doing a keyboard build. I'm gonna get these screws onto the magnetic pad so I don't lose them. And then we're gonna put them right back on the circuit board for the Delta. Okay, it seems like the stream's leveled out. Sorry about that, guys. I already rebooted the modem once, so having it happen twice in one stream is pretty, not cool. I'm wondering if sometimes I might have to stream at like 720, just because it seems to be kind of demanding for my modem. Alright, so we're just taking all the stabs out of the test bed. Should be asleep, but yeah, welcome. I welcome your insomnia. Sometimes there's nothing better than putting on a stream late at night and just kind of falling asleep that way. I do that almost every night, actually. When I go to bed, like, I'll just get my laptop out and I'll put on like a YouTube video of someone I subscribe to, or if there's like a stream going, I'll just like listen to that, and it puts me like right to sleep within like half an hour, generally. It's basically a routine for me at this point. And people will yell about like blue light and all that stuff, you know, and it's like it affects everyone differently. But like, if that works for you, if, you know, just like listening to a stream puts you to sleep, then why not? I know nothing about custom keyboards, although I'm considering it, as there seems to be very few blue-keyed 100%ers around. What do you mean by blue-keyed? Are you talking about caps? Or are you talking about switches? Oh, the switches? Yeah. Yeah, so like cherry blues, or are those more like clicky? I don't remember. I mostly do like linears that make very soft noises. The super clicky ones, yeah. I'm not a big fan of super clicky. I do have some tactiles. I like the feel of tactiles, but like I'm not looking for very loud. I think most people aren't looking for loud, and that's probably why you have a hard time finding switches you like for that. All right, I'm gonna have a sip of water. Okay, install the stabilizers on the PCB. All right, we're gonna do that now. So first one goes here. Just get that little snap in of the screw holes. And then for these, we're actually going to use, now let's see if I can like prop this up. Yeah, we'll use the box here. Prop that up. And I'm going to use the little transparent circular pads that come with the screws to, I guess they're washers. These little transparent washers. And mount the screws in those. So I'm just gonna very carefully guide it in and screw up the process. Okay, there we go. And I'll start it. Just gotta go straight, man. There we go. All right. Pull it from the back while I screw it in. There we go. We'll do a final tighten once we get the other one in. Pulled out two of those washers there. Go straight in this economy? Yeah, I know, right? It's no fun being straight. Oop, kind of like poked it there, yeah. Cool. It's got the tactility of the blues for me, although I've not actually tried the browns, but the joys of dyspraxia means I rely on tactility a lot. Yeah, I mean, like, everyone talked about cherry browns back in the day, but they're really not anything to speak of. I mean, there's so many different kinds of switches these days. I mean, I've tried like a dozen at this point, and they've all got different feels and sounds, and you know, it's really up to your own taste. I got browns in this keyboard I have at the moment while I clean my office keyboard. It's not as stocky as I like, but it's also too loud like blues. Yeah, so I have an old Corsair gaming keyboard, you know, the classic. I think this is the K70. Yeah, Vengeance K70. So these have cherry browns in them. This is from like, I don't know, 2012 or something. And it sounds like that. So that's my original mechanical keyboard that I've had since forever. You got the version 2 K70 with reds. It's meh, yeah. Yep, I think they're, you know, they're fine back when, you know, mechanical keyboards weren't like the hobby they are now. But these days it's like you can do so much better. You can do so much better in terms of boards. You can do so much better in terms of switches. Okay, next set of stabs going in. Let's get a little support there. I hate the reds on my Corsair kit. I make so many typos at the moment. I've got the V2 case. Oh yeah, I read that already, sorry. Yeah, and like, you know, sometimes the profile of the caps is not what you like, and you know, people like different profiles on their caps. Armrests, desk mats, right? Like, all those things can enhance your typing experience. It's really about what you are comfortable with and what you are looking for. And I think a lot of times I'll go more for style over anything else. But I'm really happy with almost all my premium boards I bought. Don't really regret any purchase of any one board. Or even like cap sets for that matter. I think I've only gotten like one cap set I wasn't happy with, and it's just because it's like your typical AliExpress, you know, $20, oh, it's pink and it's cute, and it feels like crap. Very much function over form. Oh, okay. Yeah, something different for everybody. I used to do a ton more programming and stuff, but I already struggle with word per minute and typos, so I had to test doing stuff on this keyboard. Okay. What's your WPM? No shame. Just curious out there, like what other folks are hitting for their. You're honestly no idea. Oh, you touch typing? Yeah. Even touch typers can get pretty quick. I'm a home row guy, but I have a bit of a weird typing style. I use like one hand more than the other, and sometimes I'll use caps lock instead of shift. Like in instances where like I should never be using caps lock, I should always be using shift, but I kind of like taught myself to type. I didn't like typing classes in school. I didn't want to do them. Last time you did 55, yeah, that's fine. I hit like sloppily 85, like just like doing whatever. And then like if I'm actually trying, I hit between 95 and 105. 105 is like as fast as I can go. My brain just can't keep up with my hands at that point. It's just like try and go over that. I'm just like bleh, 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 bleh. I have to look at what I'm typing or my hands drift, and no official typing classes either. Yeah. I'll probably do a typing test on stream once I get this put together. If I get this put together, God, I'm taking forever. I thought I could do this in like 2 hours. It'll go faster once I get these in. Well, I gotta solder everything. We'll see. This might need a part 2. But I'm enjoying it. I don't know. Just don't want to let it get too late in the evening. So I got racing to do tomorrow. I gotta be out on track. Get my sleep in. You know what? I'm just gonna dump all this out because I'm tired of trying to get it out of the bag. There you go. That's a mood. The joys of ADHD with dyspraxia. Cannot type fast for shit. What is dyspraxia? I'm not familiar. I know dyslexia, but I'm not familiar with dyspraxia. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. I'm just curious. Oh, these tiny little screws, man. My fingers. They call it developmental coordination disorder. Oh, okay. Is that like difficulty, like using your hands? We're gonna hand tighten all these screws once we get them in, just very gently. God, I just want to get to the soldering part, guys. Mechanics. I just want to fuse metal to metal. Get in there. How are we looking? Looking good. Okay. Yeah, basically it's coordination issues with your body, not caused by anything more nefarious. Oh, wow. That sucks. Sorry to hear that. Hope it's just, you know, very manageable. But you taught me something new today, which is cool. Appreciate that. I like becoming more knowledgeable about the world. Oop, get in there. Get in there, man. Try and get on the screwdriver. Yeah, get in there. There we go. I think about like lag spikes in the brain. The signals from the brain don't get completely or timely received by the extremities of the body. Wow. Often shows up as clumsiness with many things. Crappy handwriting issues with hand-eye coordination. Yeah, I can't imagine having a lag time like that. That would be... I mean, I'm sure you learn to live with it and deal with it, but yeah, it's gotta be like frustrating. And I'm sure it's, you know, hard to deal with, like, become very, very self-aware when people are like, oh, you know, you're clumsy, blah, blah, blah. Oh, come on. Just another tick of the neurological box, yeah. Wild. Well, glad you're here with us. Hanging out. Appreciate it. And thanks for sharing that knowledge, that info. I think I need a bigger bit here. That's why I'm not biting as good as I need to be, but we're like done anyway, so there we go. Alright, just gonna hand tighten all these screws, make sure we're flush in there. Sorry, I'm like hiding behind my model here. I keep noticing I'm like trying to pull things toward me, and it's like you guys can't see it because like my cat ears are in the way. I'm sure you all love my cat ears very much, but you also want to see what's going on. Okay, all right, we're all tightened in there. I'm happy with that. That's cool. All right, let's get these screws back in the baggie. I also have a slight speech impediment with it, but it's not horrendous. Also just adopted an accent where I can skip certain words and syllables. Okay, cool. Adopted an accent. Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing about, you know, being human is you adapt so well to those types of things and can kind of, I don't want to say like cover up like you know, an impairment, but you can kind of like work around it, and then we can all still communicate with each other, despite having, you know, a challenge to work through. It's pretty cool. I love then. What? If you've ever heard anyone from the North or Midlands in the UK, that's basically me. Yeah, Northies. What do they call them? Geordies. Or is it a Geordie accent? Geordie. Sorry, I got some junk in my throat. You're no Geordie? Okay. No worries. My first encounter with that area of Britain was Teesside Tintin. Teesside Tintin on YouTube was pretty funny. If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it. I can't even begin to like emulate that kind of accent. What did he say? It's like Tintin's like, "Oh, Eamon, you broke my fucking car," like that kind of thing. I'm just like, I can barely understand it. It's so funny. All right, install your stabilizers. You may unplug the 4-pin JST cable now. Okay, I guess I'll unplug it. Didn't do anything with it. Think leads. Okay. I can't really. I've heard a lot of British accents. I don't really know which one is which. I just know Geordies. Alright, step 3. Insert a few switches in the corners and edges of the plate. Ensure the plate is aligned with the PCB. Okay. So let's get the plate out. Okay, so the plate goes like this. Yes. This. Like that. Okay, goes like that. Good. The short version is, the further from London you go, the more varied the accent becomes, and that's in any direction in the UK. Yeah, I got that sense for sure. Cool. Okay. So what we do is insert a few switches in the corners and edges of the plate. So what you do is this. We're going to pull out some switches here. So you put them in the plate. And what we're doing is we're lining up the plate with the PCB and putting a few switches around the outsides. Creates stability for when we put the rest of the switches in, so we're not putting so much pressure on the plate to bend it or cause damage or crack it or anything like that. And we also want to make sure that we're lining up the switches accurately with the holes that they need to go in, because we don't want to have any bent pins, because it's a pain in the butt to unbend them. Alright, so let's try and line this up. Mitigating board flex. Yep, mitigating board flex for sure. Sorry, I was mid PvP, was trying to say I love them in reference to your cat ears. Thank you. I love them too. I've always wanted to... Well, I've always been a cat boy, but I've always appreciated the Neko Mimi. I was so happy when Nekopara became a visual novel, because Sayori, the artist, was one of my favorite digital artists from long before the visual novel was made. I always liked her art of her cat girls, Chocolat and Vanilla, because she would put out like doujins every year of them, and I just thought they were so cute. And then I was really happy when she got to make the VN, and then so many more people got into cat girls after that, for good reason, because they're so sweet. Alright, so now we just start filling out the entire board with switches. And then as you're putting them in, you just kind of make sure from the back end that the legs are poking through and you're not bending any switches. So I'm actually going to just do a spot check right now and just make sure I haven't bent any of the pins of the switches I put in so far. And then I'll just kind of go at it quicker than I was before. So as we put them in, I'm actually going to feel my finger on the other end to feel like the metal feet on the other side to make sure they're coming through. And they should come through just fine if you plug them in straight through the plate. So you can see now that we've got the plate against the circuit board like that. So that's why you have a separate plate and circuit board, so you can mount the switches to them appropriately. I mean, cat ears are good. I have my own too, but ask permission first. I went SNEP, snow leopard, because there's generally too many house cat boys and girls, as I call them. Yeah, one of the original designs for Owen that I worked on with my artist, my designer, he got a different set of ears, more of like a puma or a panther, more of a big cat, and they were more rounded ears. And it was just something to try. It was just like, oh, maybe we'll do something different, and I didn't like them. I really wanted the house cat Necopara ears look, because I like it the most. It just feels like meat. So I was glad I went the way I did. But yeah, I mean, big cats are cool. Snow leopards, definitely super cool. I've gotten to see a few snow leopards at zoos before. Right, this one's a little bit tricky because we're putting it in the stabs. Yep, we're good there. Also, the deeper voice kind of sits well, plus Sneps can't actually meow. They don't have the same vocal cords, supposedly. Oh, that's interesting. Lion Owen was so cute. Yeah, he was cute. I might pull up the whips, the works in progress, what could have been at some point on a stream, just for fun. Maybe we'll do that in a year from now, at the if I last a year. I intend to last a year at least. We'll do that for the anniversary. Maybe by then I'll have my full-on VTuber model too. I kind of want to start heading in that direction in the next year for sure. So that's definitely a mini goal of mine, is I want a full model before next year. Be cool if we could get it done for my birthday. My birthday is January 15th, if you didn't know that. I think it's in the description below in Twitch. How is there already a cat hair here? Must have come off my head. Real Owen is too? Yeah, I know I'm cute. Thank you. I appreciate it. All the love and support has been really good. I'm really happy people like my model and what I've been doing, and it's been very humbling. I really didn't expect to get this kind of support, but I'm very grateful for it. And it's been good mentally too. I've been before this I was basically just like working and then logging off and playing video games, and it was not really good for my mental. Like, I didn't really have I have hobbies I can work on, but nothing that was like really engaging like this is, where it's more like community building, right? Like, I've got a group of friends that I can talk to about like what I'm doing, and I'm really excited for what they're doing and what they're getting into, and like potential collabing and stuff like that. Like, that's really like one of the main reasons I got into this stuff, because I wanted to do more like online community type things and have fun with people and connect with people and stuff like that. But it's also just like a really creative outlet too. Like, I like making little assets. I like making I've barely used the microscope since we started, right? So it's like, I made this little small view like border here, and this is like the small Owen from Omina that she made me. But I then I made like the text here and the border around it, and I like making little stuff like that. So here's the microscope. I'll show you guys, so we can view stuff on the board. I'll show you some of the soldering I do once I do it. I'll show you like here. This is how the let me see. I gotta focus it in. How the feet poke through the circuit board. I'm trying to find there. There it is. So those are the feet from the metal feet from the switches. And if I can focus it, there you go. So they poke through there to the other side of the board. And what we're going to do is we're going to go at it with a soldering iron and solder, and then connect that foot that you see there in the middle to the metal on the outside. And we're going to fill that entire hole with solder to connect the foot to the circuit board. So that's how the switch connects to the circuit board, and you get your contact made. If I had more money and was better organized, I'd probably have more than a PNG, but I want to work with a friend on some 3D VTubing software that's not based on fucking Unity, because I'm sick of Unity being used for stuff. Okay. No, a Catboy leaving cat hair and stuff. Yeah, who'd have thought? When I say work on software, it's building high-efficiency render of various animation and IK systems. I assume you mean inverse kinematics. Inverse kinematic systems, shader systems, lighting, just a full suite, really. Yeah, it's cool stuff. Yeah, more power to you, dude. I'm excited to see, you know, what people come up with in the scene for like new software and new ways to do things and just innovation in general. Because, you know, VTubing's come a long way, and PNG tubing's come a long way too. We got a few different PNG tuber programs now. I think VTubing in general, like standard VTubing, is pretty much boiled down to what is it, VTube Studio for the most part. But that's very feature rich at this point. The 3D stuff, I don't really know what people are using now. I've heard of something called Vroid. I see Vroid around a lot, and I'm not sure what that is. But I know people make like Vroid specific models. I know that a lot of streamers also use VRChat. They just have a model in VRChat. They set up cameras within VRChat and use that as well. I remember a few years ago, people were using something called Luppet to do 3D models. I don't think that's a thing anymore, though. I don't hear about that anymore. So I'm really like out of the loop on the 3D stuff. And I definitely have a lot to learn for like you know, standard VTubing with a live 2D rigged model with VTube Studio. But I'll get there eventually. Vroid is like an avatar builder, but it's Unity. Ah, okay. You should ask Cam about it. Yeah. I should pop into one of her rigging streams, but I don't want to like monopolize that with like questions. Sometimes it feels like, yeah, it's like going to ask an artist in an art stream, how do I get good at art? You know, it's like those stupid questions that they get asked a million times, and it's like, well, you just do art. I think with like that kind of stuff, it's like, well, you just Google around and you just start learning stuff. But yeah, I mean, definitely should reach out to resources when, you know, they're available. But people like Ham, I'm like, they're just so busy. I don't want to bother them. And I think, yeah, I don't like to bother people too much unless I have a really good question. I'm a very analytical kind of guy, so I like to kind of do my own research first. Did I screw this up? No. Yes? Wait a minute. Sorry, I'm just taking a look at... Huh. It's weird. They have the... I need to test the space bar here. 1 second. Where's my space bar? Where's my caps? Here they are. It's just like iRacing practice and appropriate teaching sources. Yeah. Yeah, being in a league in iRacing was very, very good, because there are a lot of guys in there that had like full sim rigs. They were very good at teaching. Oh shoot! I think I put in the wrong. Yeah, I needed. Damn, I needed the longer one. Okay, we're gonna have to... Oh, wow. I should have tested that. before I put that in. Okay, I'm just looking at my build guide diagram here. A 6.25U and a 7U. Is this a 7U board? Is this really a 7U board? Hold up. Let me go back to the Quadrum Labs Delta 7U. Specs. Sorry, I'm just getting confused. I think so. What happened was I think I put on a stabilizer for the spacebar that's actually too short. Or is it up to configuration? I think it's up to you what you want the configuration to be. I'll have to ask my friend that I'm building this for what configuration they want. Okay. Yeah, because like looking at the diagram here in the build guide, it looks like you can have three keys next to the space bar, and then with a 6.25U, and then you can do a 7U with 2 keys to the right. 3 keys to the left and 2 to the right. Okay, so we'll do the 7U then. So that's what this extra long spacebar is. This is a 7U spacebar, I believe. Yeah, that's a 7U spacebar. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to pull the caps off and then put in a different stabilizer. So this is another part of like building keyboards. You'll get all the way here and then you'll go, oh shoot, I did the wrong thing, and then you gotta undo everything. But the good thing is we haven't soldered anything yet, so it's not a big deal. We just gotta pull all the caps, we gotta pull the switches out, unfortunately, which is kind of a pain. Yeah, we're just gonna have to like wiggle everything out. Oops. Damn, they're really in there. Oh, we can just pull the you can just pull the circuit board apart. There you go, like that. Okay. No big, no big. All right, so we're gonna undo this. And they're nice and tight, yeah. No, not really, actually. It came apart pretty easily. The main thing is we're gonna have to switch out the we're gonna have to switch out the wire. We're gonna have to get the bigger wire in there, so I gotta re-lube it, which is fine. Only take a second. You know what? I'm gonna move myself because I'm getting in my own way. Where am I? There. You're gonna move over here. There we go. Okay, better. Okay. So let's pop this out. Get the other wire in. tweezers. We'll wipe the lube off this because we're just going to put this back in the box. Get back in the box. What's in the box? Stabilizers. I'd planned to build the suite in Vulkan, but I don't currently have a plan myself. Both myself and the friend have been busy with life stuff, Vulkan being a next-gen API, although I have a dumb acronym in the closed pre-alpha document. I know nothing, but I'm relatively handy. I might see what the cost is, although because of all the Switch manufacturers now, IDK what's like the Cherry Blues, that, and I struggle to find 100% keyboard and PCB. I mean, there are 100%s out there, but yeah, I mean, you're more likely to find something like an 1800, you know, because that's really the appeal of a lot of these boards for most people, is like it's a smaller form factor, or it cuts out the switches that they don't like or whatever. But yeah, I feel you. I definitely have a few friends that are like, I want 100%. I'm like, okay. You know, they're out there. The thing is, too, is like the scene has shrunk considerably since 2003. Or 2002, it really peaked. And then probably pretty much fell off halfway through 2003. Because a lot of people just, they got what they wanted. And they lost interest. And they don't need more than like 1 or 2 keyboards. And some people just moved on entirely. They're like, yeah, I was in the scene and then I sold all my keyboards and went on to the next thing. And it's like, oh, okay. So what were you here for? You're just here to like be enthusiastic about something, I guess. You don't actually like, you know, appreciate the boards or something. I don't know. People are weird. I think there are like a handful of like YouTubers that did that kind of thing, and it really was just about, I found a thing I can do on YouTube and get an audience. Even though I don't really care about it, they're just kind of like posers or whatever. It's kind of a shame, but you know, it's just how people are. Okay, got one in, the other one in. Oh, stop. There we go. Ta-da. Okay. Let me put that in. I hate that my mind went in the same place. What's in the box? As a programmer, I use the numpad a ton. Yep, that's good. 1800s have the numpad. Maybe I'm weird, but it's hella useful. Yeah, I mean, there's a few games I played that use the numpad, like iRacing uses the numpad, right, for like camera work and stuff. Kerbal Space Program uses the numpad for docking and things like that, so numpad's useful. I do not shit on the numpad. Okay, I think this is, yeah, that's where I want it. Okay, cool. Alright, so we got the right stabilizer this time, the right wire. Where's my wow stick? Oh my god, cat hairs. Yeah, various hobbies have waves like that. Music is one of them I know well. Same with the custom water cooling, especially in light of the EKW. What's the EKWB drama? I don't know what that is. And the only time I get into like PC building is when I'm like ready to build a new PC, and then I like get totally out of it, and I'm like, I just don't know what's going on for the next 5 years or 6 years until I build my next PC. And that's when I start learning about PCs, and I'm like, what is M2? Oh, that's cool. We have new SSDs now. It's just like the stuff like totally goes over my head until I'm like interested in building a new computer again. Because I'm just like, oh, I don't really need to know it because I'm not building right then or upgrading. Okay, let's put the lube away. So I don't get lube everywhere. I'm gonna need a new paintbrush soon. Yeah, the music scene, certain music scenes. I was in the chiptune scene for a while, way back, and that like died after I want to say like 2011, and then it like came back a few years ago, but it was like different set of artists, different crowd, different like generation. It's kind of interesting. But the chiptune scene was cool. There's like pretty you know, each city kind of had its own scene. Like there was a Philly scene and a New York City scene, and then there was like the little festivals like Blip Fest, which were fun. Had artists like Bit Shifter and Format and all those big guys back then. But there's new ones now, like Chipzell is one I listen to. She's an Irish chiptune artist. She's pretty cool. She was at PAX East recently. Okay, this looks more like the build guide. That is where it should be. Okay, cool. Slovenian custom water cooling manufacturer EKWB Edvard Koning water blocks has been found to be in dire straits, as well as a ton of other drama involving mistreatment of staff. Ooh, contractors, partners, and stuff, and they doubled down. They were like the premium brand, and they honestly have good engineers, but it's all gone to buggery. That sucks. That's really unfortunate. Kind of reminds me of the Go XLR thing, where it's just like, we laid off all our engineers for our like main product that we sell. Okay, all right. Guess it's dead now. Is that switch supposed to go there? Yeah. Okay. All right. We get this guy here. Just being very careful, paying attention to the diagram, making sure I'm putting in the switches in the places they're supposed to go, and the orientation they are supposed to go, because I don't want to screw this up, because I don't want to desolder the whole thing. Oh, you upset Automod? Oh, that's fine. Oop. Add permitted term, motherfuckers. Thank you, Cielo. Cielo, to the rescue. I was about to permit it. I was like, yeah, motherfuckers. Yeah. Let's go. Thank you so much. All while PvPing in 14. You're a badass. This one goes here. Ow. Just stabbing myself. Glad to be the Automod tester for Twitch. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for your contribution. Yeah, all the big tech YouTubers have basically gone, fuck EK, fix your shit, and pay motherfuckers. Yeah. Cashew fell asleep on me using my hand as a pillow, so taking a break for now, lol, yep. I know that. Good opportunity to take a break. Alright, insert all the switches into the plate and PCB. Make sure that the switches and stabs are in the correct placement for your chosen layout. Ensure that all switch pins pass through the contacts into the PCB. Ensure that all switches are fully clicked into the plate. Yeah, that's a good point. It really needs to be like clicked in there. Because if you solder one in and it's like not fully in the plate, you're gonna have to like desolder it and then mess around with it. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure everything is in there, nice and solid. Solid snake. I saw that David Hayter is actually going to like a con I was interested in, and I was like, oh, David Hayter, maybe his autograph or something like that. But I don't know. I don't really like care about like getting celebrity photos or autographs. Like, I think it's different. Like when you see them in the flesh, you might be like, oh man, I want to get a photo or like whatever. But like, I would never like go out of my way to go get a photo with a celebrity or something. I'd just be like, oh yeah, there they are. Oh, they're not. They're clearly not in a position where like I would truly bother them. So I think I'd be more like, hey, so and so, I love your work, and then just like piss off. But if they offered like a photo or something, like, oh, you want to take a photo, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it, you know. But like, I don't know, celebrities are just people, right? Like they're like no different from me. They just did something I'm a fan of, right? So I don't know. All right, I really need to like look at the diagram here and just make sure I've got everything in appropriately, so when I solder it, I'm not kicking myself in the butt. Okay. Okay, so those two are slightly to the... These three are all slightly to the right, so I got that. The stab is in there correctly. Actually, let's put the space bar in and just make sure... Where did my space bar go? Oh, it's right here on the workbench. And then just make sure it goes in there. Yeah, that fits in. Okay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Keyboards. Gently pull that out. Firmly grasp it. Ugh, I wish we had a fur baby. Mom dislikes pets, although we had a neighbor's cat that used to pop in for a day or two, but said neighbor's kid had, oh jeez, I can't read. But said neighbors had a kid and gave up the cats they had. Kind of says something about their parenting too. No, poor babies. I crave having my own fur children. Jinx was an adorable small bean who became a long boy. Very soft and loving despite being young and hyper. He's pulling his cucumber out. Not cucumber, sorry, eggplant. I always just like, I love your role in X and I'm a big fan of your role in this. I tend to forget what I want them to write on stuff I get them to sign, but they're usually super chill. I don't think I've ever gotten an autograph. I've only gotten like one photo with someone once, and they're more of an internet celebrity than a real celebrity, so don't know if it really counts. I'm all for buying like autographed like merch online though, like, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday I'll get a photo or an autograph with like one of my favorite bands or something like that. It'd be kind of cool. Definitely at the point I can like afford the VIP treatment if I wanted it, you know, backstage pass and all that stuff, but it's just not super important to me right now. Okay, I've definitely got all the switches in where they need to be. I'm like 99% sure. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so we're just gonna check and see if all the feet are there. Pointing out the other side. I'm being very careful about this build because this is not my keyboard. This is a keyboard for somebody else, so I want to make sure that they get the best experience that I can give them. And I don't want to screw it up for them, so... Especially with how pricey these things are. I had one internet celeb / VA sign my sketchbook page based on a skit he did. That's cool. I just wish I had better income, full stop. Not being able to work sucks the most. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you for sure. You'll get there. Don't worry. All right, we're gonna start soldering. So let me just clean off this area here. Get some of this stuff out of the way. Just putting my my WoW stick away here. Back in the drawer. All right, so we're gonna remove the cutting board here and swap it out for a silicone anti-static soldering mat. So that's what this is. Okay. Now we're gonna get the the iron out. So I have a very nice Hako, Japanese brand, Hako soldering iron. It's a hobbyist iron. It's got like this really cool like blue and yellow casing to it, but it looks plasticky, but it's a very solid piece of equipment. Definitely recommend it because it's you know, very nice kit, adjustable temperature, very reliable. So I've been very happy with it so far. Better than the old like Radio Shack irons that only heat up to one temperature. But that said, you don't have to spend a lot of money on an iron. You can get away with something that's like $30 that still has like adjustable temperature. Okay. Sorry, just looking at the build guide again. All right, we're going to solder all the switches. So we're going to get out our solder here. We're going to plug in the iron. We're going to start heating that up. And then we're going to get our fume extractor here. So it's very important because when you do soldering, you get fumes from the flux that's embedded within the leaded solder. So you definitely don't want to be breathing in the flux fumes because it just gives you a headache and is generally not good for you. So when we solder, we turn on the fume extractor and then we blow that out through the filter there. And then you always want to wash your hands when you're done soldering too, especially because I use leaded solder. We want to get all the lead off our hands so that we don't ingest any lead and give ourselves lead poisoning, of course. So very careful around this stuff. Let's see, how's our iron doing? Yep, nice and hot. Clean it off. Okay, just want to make sure I go one by one here, and we'll get going. So the fan is going to be pretty loud. I don't know if it's going to come in through the mic because this is a noise canceling mic. Hold on. Yeah, that's not activating the mic at all. You're not hearing anything. That's cool. I just had fancy. I want to get one as I went through a period of messing with retro consoles up to Xbox 360, but alas, money. Yeah, definitely costs money. Especially for HDMI mods of some of the retro consoles. Yeah, I'm a big N64 enthusiast. I wanted to get into like N64 modding, but I never had the money for it. But I might get back into that now that I can do that. And I'm actually going to be doing some N64 on stream when I got my capture card. So I might consider HDMI mods impure, but I'm lazy and I want to play my current screen. Yeah, I mean, I just have an HDMI converter for the classic consoles, so I can do that. And oh yes, don't inhale the fumes, you will get sick. Yep, I thought most peeps used lead-free solder nowadays. It depends who you talk to. I know in Canada you can't get it. I was talking to Goji, my friend Goji, the other day, and he said, yeah, in Canada you can't get leaded solder anymore. You can only get lead-free. But here in the great USA, you can get leaded solder still. So it flows better and it needs a lower temperature to flow, so I prefer it. All right, so I'm gonna take my time here and I just want to pull this back a little bit. I don't want to get too much in frame. Tin the tip. Just gotta see where my tip is.
I never do well on the first one. I gotta like really kind of go at it. There we go. Once I get a rhythm though, it goes pretty well. Just gotta keep remembering to keep the tip clean. There we go. Now we're getting it. Just gotta make sure it flows, gets a good flow in there. Always clean your tip, yep. Keep your tip clean. Getting a little too bubbly there. Not being very efficient, but still a good joint. I want to be proud of my joints. Sorry I'm not talking as much right now. I'm just really just concentrating on soldering the switches in, making sure I'm getting good joints in there, good contact. You might be able to see it when I move away, but the board's got a lot of like, let me just clean the tip here. Got a lot of like yellow on it now where I soldered in. It's out of focus a little bit, but you can see there's like bits of yellow around where I'm soldering in the joints. That's flux. So flux gives the ability for the solder to flow and make better contact between the metal. So what we'll do is once we're done here, we'll go over it with some isopropyl alcohol and remove the flux from the board. Get it cleaned up. And it's already 10:30, so we're going pretty slow. I don't know if I'm going to finish tonight. We may pick this up tomorrow night. But I think I want to get the board soldered at least. So we're still gonna do that. So we'll probably get the board soldered and then we'll call it, and then we'll do the rest of the build stream another night, maybe tomorrow night. Didn't think it would take this long, but I was trying to be very careful putting it together. But that's fine. I don't mind doing this stream 2 nights in a row. I kind of welcome it. And then on Friday we'll do American Truck Simulator, which I'm very much looking forward to, because I haven't played those games since the last time I played Euro Truck Sim, which was a long time ago now. So I'm really looking forward to that. And appreciate you guys, hanging around and chatting. That's been kind of how we're spending most of our time, just reading your messages and talking to you guys. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And if you're hanging out and chat and you're just lurking, you haven't done it already, if you could drop me a follow, definitely appreciate that. Because we're getting very close to affiliate, which I'm really looking forward to. So I can get you guys those emotes that I commissioned. Alright, I'm going to check my joints here. And I might just call it here, because I think it's going to take me another probably 20 minutes to get through these. Just kind of eyeballing the joints, making sure. Gotta bring it closer to my face, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think I went a bit heavy on a couple of these, but that's fine. Yeah, they're not too bad. Pretty proud of that. Let me get the microscope on this so you guys can see. And we'll try not to destroy anything in the process with this 700-degree Fahrenheit soldering iron. All right, let's bring up the microscope. Too many damn things. There we go. Okay, so that's an example of a soldered joint there. So you can see, I put my finger there, this yellow stuff, that's the flux. So we're actually going to clean that off once we're done. And you can see how shiny that joint is and how it's kind of like round, but you still have a little bit of the foot poking out. That's the kind of joint you want. So you don't want the solder to cover the entire joint. You don't want it to be concave. You want it to be convex like that. You want it to be like bubbled up and covering most of the joint, but not too much so that it's like excessive. So I'd say that's a pretty good joint. I'm pretty proud of that. So that's what I'm trying to achieve on every single one of these. All right, so what I'm gonna do now, that's what wood looks like. This microscope's really cool. I really like it. You can see like, wait, here's my finger here. I'll show you my scar. So I have a scar on my, on my pointer finger. Oh, this one. This is the one. I have a scar going down the middle of my pointer finger there. So you can see the my fingerprint is jacked up because I was playing with glass when I was a kid, and I took like old glass that was like buried in the backyard from like the previous owners, and then I like used Play-Doh to like secure it to my desk, and I was just like messing around and broke the glass and cut my finger and didn't tell anybody.
Just put a band-aid on it, and then I just have this stupid scar on my finger for years now. Anyway. Yeah, so it's 10:37. I think I'm going to call it here. We'll pick this up tomorrow night. We'll finish the build tomorrow. So if you guys are around, definitely hope you come by. And yeah, definitely appreciate you all coming out tonight. I'm going to just leave everything here. We're going to shut off the soldering iron. And yeah, thank you for showing up. Thank you for appreciating the coziness. And we'll definitely get this finished tomorrow. I think we'll definitely finish it in under 2 hours. Because all I need to do is solder this and then assemble the board, which is just a few more steps. I think most of that time-consuming stuff is just going to be like putting the gaskets on and the feet on, and finishing up the assembly. So yeah, 2-part stream. Was hoping for 1, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, so I'm gonna send you all to. Oh boy, who's on right now? Crap, I'm not even logged in on this computer. Hold on one sec. What's my name? My name is Owen Aeon. What's my password? I can't remember. I think it's this. Oh shoot, your browser is not currently supported? Twitch doesn't support Firefox? Are you kidding me? Saku, Babinka. We should raid Saku. Can you, Cielo, can you put Saku's full name in the chat for me? It's Sakura Mikage, right? But there's like an underscore. Oh, I gotta log in now. Hold on. I'm so bad at the rating part, guys. It's always like an afterthought for me. I feel bad about it. I don't even know if shoutout is enabled, sorry. Oh, okay. I'm able to log into my my Twitch. Boy, I'm just like not prepared tonight. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. I gotta do this on my phone. Hello? Email? Sorry, it's like asked me to do the 2-factor 310320. Okay, cool. Sakura Mikage. Yeah, thanks for the shout out. Definitely go check out Saku. She's really awesome. And she's playing 14 right now. She's been very supportive of me. And I want to be very supportive of her. So I hope you all have a good evening. We will be back tomorrow, where we'll finish up the build. So I hope to see you then. And if not, I hope you all have a great next couple of days. Bye-bye now.